go ahead and get ourselves situated up here in the makeshift press box here at the Recplex. Hello and welcome in, folks. My name is Andy Diedrich alongside Steve Taylor. We're bringing you another matchup in the Bantam Red 1 division here in the CSDHL playoffs. It is Peoria going up against the Sabres of Naperville. Steve, we had a great first game to start things off here. Expect a lot more fireworks in this one?
Oh, absolutely. It started off with a barn burner, which is crazy to start off a game, a day of 8 games of hockey back and forth. An incredible start to the day between the Yellow Jackets and the Falcons. Yellow Jackets taking in overtime. Weisman, the captain of the Yellow Jackets, lifts them in the final frame.
And getting back to this one, a big matchup here too. Both these teams, of course, obviously fighting for their playoff lives. Peoria coming in this one, champions of their regular season in this Bantam Red 1 division. They have swept the season series against their opponents. How much is that going to factor into the performance of both these teams today?
It's going to be a big deal. We already see that the Junior Mustangs from Peoria are starting off great. They're coming off of a win in their last regular season game, a 3-2 win in overtime over Glenview. That's how you want to start this, that's how you want to start the playoff run. End with a win, get ready for the playoffs.
I think that's well said. Both these teams trying to stay hot. Of course, Peoria finished first. Same can't be said for the Sabres. 6th, about middle of the road there. Their goal differential on the season, +1. A sole goal that they scored more than they let up. They're going to have to do a lot more in this one. For a Peoria team, they really had their way with them in the regular season.
Absolutely. Peoria, I believe it was undefeated against the Sabres this season.
Yeah, so with all that being said, we're going to turn our direction over to the ice. We're going to get ourselves situated up here one more time. Thanks for joining us up here in the box. We'll shout out Evan Brown for that phenomenal camera work over there. Appreciate you, Evan. Once again, alongside Steve Taylor, my name's Andy Diedrich. Lamar Macon, our technical director today, thank you for being here. And thank you, the viewer, for joining us on this Saturday morning. We already had one game. There are 7 more to be played. Second of this octet of CSDHL action here in the Bantam Divisions, Red 1 and 2.
Sabres look to be all set, but the Junior Mustangs over there getting ready, about to break it down. Mustangs on 3. But for the Sabres, they're coming off of a loss last night against Afton, the Afton Americans, a St. Louis team, actually. But the Sabres, they are 7-3 in their last 10. An excellent way to close out the season. But among those 3 losses include 2 of them on the hands of the Junior Mustangs out of Peoria.
Peoria Mustangs, like Steve mentioned, that win against Glenview in their first matchup in this round-robin playoff brackets, propelling them. Another win here today puts them in the driver's seats in terms of getting to that title game. The Sabres, of course, that loss against Afton, need a win to stay alive. We're off and running here. Game 2 of 8 games of the day here at the Green Rink at Pleasant Prairie's Recplex.
It's all stick taps to start this game. Both teams getting into it. It's going to be an intense one.
You're indeed right. Another solid jersey matchup as we get a shot immediately there from Kaiser, who scores, in fact.
You want to start early. It took 17 seconds to break through. Mustangs up 1-0.
Goodness gracious, I was turning my attention to the rest of the introduction I was going to make, and apologies there. Paxton Zeiser was the goal scorer there for the Peoria Mustangs. And what a style. I almost don't even have words for that. I wasn't quite ready for that after the break we thought we were going to get after last game, but it's 1-0 Peoria, Steve. How about that fast start?
Oh, an incredible start for the Mustangs. One thing that I was going to note before they even scored was that the Mustangs have to be more disciplined. In their last outing against the Glenview Stars, they gave up 2 power play goals, and those were the only goals by their opponent. St. Peter's.
How can the Sabres respond as they have a chance? No one's home for that pass sliding through the crease. It's Peoria wearing their white jerseys with the light blue trim, the big black letters on the back spelling out their last names. Their counterparts in the Sabres, the navy blue with the yellow trim. I said it before, another good jersey matchup as we get some pounding on the boards. Teams liking the physicality early.
Hafner just trying to set the tone. When you find yourself down 1-0, you got to establish the physicality of this game. Pyle
getting to it, but a glove save there in net. That's our first introduction. Number 32, Jason D for the Sabres. Of course, he had one puck go past him already, but a good glove save has him back on the right track.
1 for 1. You let a goal in, you want to focus on the next shot. Just get ahead of it.
Have to weather a face-off here, but that puck's out of the zone. So a good clear from the Sabres. Ultimately, what's the mindset? Do you still think of this as a 0-0 game with just you have to score at least one goal, which that's how you have to win a hockey game anyways?
You have to play the game like you just have to think about the next goal. It's always the next goal. It's 0-0 even when it's 10-1.
The other goaltender taking the ice today for the Peoria Mustangs, Logan Flynn. Him and Harrison Kimball make up that goalie room. The Sabres backup goalie today, Brody Quint. Right now, though, it's Jason D having to weather this Mustang storm with them galloping out to an early lead.
Talk about the hockey names. That was Fox Taylor keeping the puck in before retrieving it now.
Fox Taylor, number 22 for the Mustangs. Again, another name that's just destined for greatness.
Fox Taylor's going to make it somewhere. No relation, by the way, Steve Taylor here on the mic. No relation to Fox.
Nice move, getting in there, but saved real quickly. Jason D, last-minute save. Impressive set of moves. I think that was number 27, Brody Stesler. I mean, man, how about these sticks for Peoria?
Peoria is coming out swinging. Right now, the Sabres are just looking to shake it off and get to the next one.
Again, if you're just joining us for this game, the format of these games, 14-minute periods. If there is an overtime, as we saw in the previous matchup, a 5-minute sudden death, 3-on-3 pond style. But these 14-minute periods, there is no intermission for the Zambonis. We just play it straight through. So these games are going to go by quick as we have 8 of them today.
It's a cool 20 degrees outside. The lake outside the Recplex is frozen over, but all the games are on the chilled ponds indoors.
Glove save from Jason D. He's back to his normal form. Yeah, you're not kidding, though. Outside, whatever temperature it is, it might not be 72 and sunny in here, but it's all right for some Midwesterners like us.
I spent a little time in Southern California, and there's nothing like LA Kings hockey, but it doesn't compare to the hockey in the Midwest. That's the CSDHL, some of the top hockey. #1 Tier 2 league in the Midwest.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about the CSDHL in a little bit here. We'll stick with the action for now. Peoria's unable to keep it in. Retreating to grab it is Jobin Brown. First time we've called his name. Still early here in the first period, but a quick goal, no less than 15 seconds, is won by Paxton Zeiser. Leaves us one at 1-0 still. Brown's got it at the point. He'll shoot, saved, rebound, scored! Less than 4 minutes, 2 on the board, and 2 for Paxton Zeiser.
Oh, he's already thinking HT, and we're not even 4 minutes into this game already. But you really got to hand it to Brown. What can Brown do for you? Jobin Brown, a shot from the blue line, setting up Zeiser for his second of the day.
You look over at that Peoria bench after they celebrated that Zeiser goal when he skated over there. Really looks like business as usual over there. It's another nice move from Stesler. Backhanded shot, bounces up, still bouncing, loose in the crease. My goodness, this pressure from the junior Mustangs. My, oh my. We have to catch our breath this game as well, but for a different reason. Peoria foot on the gas. Bame was almost the one with the goal that time. Stesler's got it, defended by McKierney.
You always want to play from ahead, and right now the Stangs are starting off strong. But an opportunity here.
That defense, though, Bame getting it on both ends, nearly had the redirect as he does a hard hit into the boards. Referee deems it clean, though. Delivered on Christian Lasac. Now it's Brody Dice, this near corner. And now some back check pressure is boding well. They did get it out for the Sabres. Hard hit at neutral ice. Still seeing physical hockey despite the deficit. Bame.
Cullen willing to take the hit to make the play. It's going to be a physical game, but he's definitely still playing the puck, and you really have to applaud that.
Now you have the multi-goal lead. Is it time to keep pushing? Do you play a little more conservative, or do you try to get this one out of the way in the first period, perhaps?
Get it out of the way in the first period. Save your energy down the stretch. If nothing else, if you're the Sabres right now, you want to try and stop the bleeding. And if you're the junior Mustangs, you want to keep the foot on the gas.
Quintus Krieger, his first shot of the day goes high and wide. Brown's there to grab. Time on attack just absolutely dominated by this one-seeded Peoria team right now. Elijah Sutton, far side, bouncing puck is deflected by Cullen. Now back out to Paxton Zeiser. Might be hearing his name a lot, especially if he gets that coveted hat trick with 2 goals in the first 4 minutes already. Naperville needing a good response. Nice set of moves to get it out of the zone from McKierney. Back to Cullen. Six minutes into the first period. The 2 goals from Zeiser's stand. Peoria's up 2-0, taking it back the other way.
Dumped in by Colin Stack to get the change. Fresh set of Sabres out on the ice.
And against a team that pushes as much as Peoria, those shift changes have got to have to be quick, or as quick as they can be, should say, with how much forecheck pressure they're putting on.
Sometimes when you can't establish the skill level of the game, which I spoke too soon, Ehrlicher with a breakaway.
Donald Ehrlicher got it, wanted to go around, intercepted. Brody Stesler, great job of getting back, intercepting that pass that was intended for Colin Stack.
When you're having a little trouble establishing the skill game, a little bit of the stick and puck motion, you got to try and establish the physical game, something to try and win back the momentum, because hockey is all about momentum.
If momentum had to swing one way in this one, pretty obvious who it's going towards. I think if Peoria can stay out of the box and continue to put that proverbial foot on the gas pedal, things should bode well for them. But the Sabres, like you said, get a couple line changes. Jason D returns to his form of making some saves. Anything can happen.
Huge credit to these teams. They didn't travel far, but they played last night in Gurnee. At the Gurnee Mills Mall, playing in a shopping mall a la the Hartford Whalers before they left for Carolina.
You are a Carolina boy through and through, aren't you, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. Born on the coast where the water doesn't freeze, but Canes still play. Canes are doing well. Top of the Metro going into the Olympic break. Shot on goal from Ehrlicher.
First save, or maybe second save from Logan Flynn. Hasn't had to work too hard so far. Every time that puck's been saved, it's back out and running. Brody Stesler seems to be first in the zone. Almost went 5-hole, saved by D. Stesler on the rebound, man in the slot, Pyle scores! Halfway through the first period, a trio of goals for the Mustangs. This time off the stick, Charles Pyle getting on the board.
Private Pyle, what are you doing? When you get the puck on your stick in the crease like that, you just have to let her rip. Top right corner.
I mean, not much else you could say about that. A great Private Pyle reference, by the way. We are literate up in this broadcast booth, despite what other people may think.
Well read, but I spell it R-E-D.
Peoria jumping out to a 3-0 lead. They have had the Sabres number this year, but not quite in this fashion. Those 3 games had scores of 4-2, 4-1. They did have a 6-0 game. I don't want to speak too soon, Steve, but that seems to be the direction we're heading in.
It's really looking like Peoria could run away with this one, but Sabres still have it. Interesting choice there to try and play that with your hand. Swanson had it right at about stick level, but saw a bouncing puck and wanted to play it with his hand.
It's R.J. Swanson of the Naperville Sabres. They're going to get a line change. The one thing that concerns me, though, those first 2 goals, really impressive stuff from Paxton Zeiser. You can move past that. But Charles Pyle getting that wide open in the slot. I mean, credit to Pyle for finding the real estate. Sabres got to get themselves in position on D.
But a lot of credit to Stetzler because Stetzler just fed it to him. When you're in the crease and your buddy can feed it to you like that, I mean, more credit to the assist than the goal. But here we go again.
How will the Sabres respond? Shot saved. 1-0 goes to the goalie, Logan Flynn.
Jason D, it's a denial. That's his second or third save of the game.
Oh, Steve, I hate to tell you this. That was not a denial because that was Logan Flynn.
Oh, excuse me, that's the wrong end of the ice, but we'll hold on to that one for.
Yeah, everyone forget we said that. That's going to be used. Jason D, we want you to use that in your future contests because we're very proud of you up in this booth. Logan Flynn, you too, but the denial really works for Jason, doesn't it?
It really does, but credit to Logan Flynn. That was an excellent save. The first real challenge we've seen against him today.
Can you still think of like the Flynn pun later on? We'll get to that next time he has a chance to save
check in with me in the second period. We'll find it.
Just about 5 minutes remaining here in the first. Only a trio of shots on goal, we're going to call it, for the Sabres. That most recent one in the breakaway coming from Anthony Silva. The Sabres got to get back. Brody Stesler once again, toe drag, but defended well. Falling to his feet and kicking it out of there, Johnny Humes. Lasak, only man in the zone, wants to go one-on-one. Sutton blocked it all the way. Rebound is swung at and missed. First action for Mason O of Peoria. Slow-moving puck at neutral ice. Game slowing down the pace a little bit as we see a Sabre skater trip and fall. But I don't think Peoria, as much as they do want to talk about that aggression, still want to keep up. They're not going to be that upset if it really doesn't swing that much in their favor when it comes to that aggression.
Oh, absolutely. Right now they're up 3-0. They're just going to be thankful for what they've got so far. Try and keep the goal, but you can take the foot off the gas just a touch, but you still want to score when you get your opportunities. Held to the blue line, looked like it was in favor of the Mustangs a little bit as they were trying to get back on side.
I mean, they have not known a forecheck they have not wanted to pursue. As Paxton Zeiser, very dangerous as we've seen, still has it. Blue line kept in with a nice skate from Bame. Finally brought out by the Sabres.
Stack, a good clear, not enough for an icing, which is a good time to get reset, get a change if you need it.
And that was just great communication by the bench over there, Steve. I'll let you talk about it a little bit. But chasing that puck down was Elijah Sutton. The entire bench telling him, hey, you got no other defenders with you, so you cannot send that puck directly behind you into harm's way.
It's all about talking to your guys, making sure that everybody knows. You cannot have eyes in the back of your head, but you got 10 eyes out there, 5 pairs of eyes out there that can all help you out. Make sure you're talking to one another. That way you can keep yourself honest. Bench talking to you, letting you know what you got and what you don't got.
I'll look over at the Sabres bench real quick, and a lot of good stuff I'm seeing over there too, whether it's head coach Ryan Murtaugh or the goalie that's not in the game for them, Brody Quinn, really trying to get the young players in that team fired up, keeping their heads in the game, because it's hockey. Anything can happen. I think we saw that from last game. Nice glove save from Logan Flynn. The clock stops, 3:30.
Logan Flynn, a nice snag. Flash in the glove. Logan Flynn is really set in his crease.
He's going to have to weather another face-off. Ehrlicher goes up against Zeiser. We'll give that one to Ehrlicher. Number 50, Alex Malinowski sends it around. Puck's loose in that far post.
Ehrlicher's been stepping up, leading his team so far. 2 face-off wins in a row. He's got a couple different shots on goal that all looked good. Just got to keep feeding him, see what he can come up with.
Something will break through for the Sabres. I think they're sure of it. We'll see if that is the case at some point. Peoria still on the forecheck. Brown's shot goes wide. Zeiser and Pyle over there, the 2 goal scorers of tonight. I said tonight, it's 10 in the morning. We got a long day ahead of us of hockey. I couldn't be more excited.
And how. A little chin music there against Malinowski. He had to dodge his head out of the way of that shot.
Under the stick of Brown, having to hurry, able to get it back out of harm's way. Luke Raja was chasing him. Hafner with Zeiser on his hip. Peoria is not wanting to stop. Loose puck, now grabbed. Loose in the slot, having that for a second, Mason Wagers. Approaching 2 minutes remaining in the opening frame. Center ice is Brown. And it looks like a little too soon to fire that one in there. Offside will be the call.
I usually never miss an opportunity to dunk on Buffalo, but the Sabres looking a little a la the Buffalo Sabres. But the Buffalo Sabres in a wild card spot right now, doing pretty well this season. It would have been the first time, since the aughts, that the Sabres will make the playoffs if they continue this way down the stretch.
Don't believe we have a lot of people watching from upstate New York, so I think your Buffalo gripes are safe in this broadcast, but don't let me speak too soon. Buffalo fans, feel free to let Steve Taylor know your thoughts on his opinions. Between the legs shot almost goes in. Oh my goodness, Quintus Krieger, what are you trying? I gotta love it though.
And credit to the Sabres here. So we got a loose helmet, but credit to the Sabres, that was an NHL level hit. They really are playing some top level hockey here.
I said, oh my goodness, not because I disagreed with it. I just was shocked to see the move being tried there. We're going to draw our attention to that far side, though. That was JT Hafner. His helmet's off. The referees are just checking on his well-being real quick. He seems to be okay from here.
Looks like just an equipment malfunction, but definitely keep an eye out. Looked like the one of the Mustang players had his arm up around his shoulder. You just can't play the body quite like that, but I don't think that was an intentional move. I think that was just getting caught up on the boards there.
Well said, Steve. It appears none of him or his teammates have that much of a gripe with the other team, so we play on. Face-off is kept on this end of the ice for now, but the Sabres trying to get it off and running, and they do. Swanson pursuing, but not before icing is the call. So another face-off heading back the other direction.
So despite the 3-1 loss last night against Afton, the Sabres are actually in a pretty good spot coming into these playoffs. They won 4 of their last 5 to close out the season, making sure to finish with a 4-3 win over the team we saw on the wrong end of an overtime, the Falcons.
One-timer is blocked from Lesac. O wanted the rebound, but still going through his legs. Backhanded pass from Silva just to get it out of harm's way. And no icings. That's going to have to be played from Flynn. And going back to what you said about just getting hot at the right time and playing a very just on-fire brand of hockey is actually, let's pause for a moment because Peoria is trying to do just that. Oh, in the corner. He's stopped for a moment, but Zeiser goes and fights for it. He's unguarded. Tries to go around. Ooh, nearly a back-and-forth action for the hat trick. Hard hit into the boards. Here's the physicality coming out in full force. Puck is cleared. Now we finally have a moment to talk about finishing the season strong and what can momentum do for a hockey team.
Momentum does everything for a hockey team. We talk about it in the middle of the game, but it applies as well when you're talking about multiple games in a row, being able to string together a lot of wins. Hockey is always a game of parity, even at some of the lower levels where you do have some teams that maybe don't quite match up to all the other teams. The Sabres are not one of those teams. The Sabres are playing some of their best hockey right now. They're playing at their peers' level. It's a really exciting team to watch.
Keep in mind, we said they came in 6th in the division. There's only 9 teams in the division and only 8 make the playoffs. The Sabres still have a winning record, and they're in the bottom third of the league as by the standings goes. It passes the eye test, sure, but when you look at this team, you're not thinking they're technically scraping the bottom of the barrel of the division because it sure doesn't look like it.
Oh, absolutely. This is a really solid team, a good group of guys that are really excited to make the trip up here. The Sabres are coming out of Naperville, the second largest city in Illinois.
Naper Vegas, they call it, I hear.
Super fun. Naperville, mentioned in the same breath as Schaumburg, as places in Illinois that aren't Chicago. Trivia answers.
You go to bar trivia a lot, Steve?
I don't. I don't usually win those. They don't often have a hockey category.
If they did, I think you and I and everybody watching would clean house, but alas, here we are commentating it instead. And you know what? Couldn't be happier.
Couldn't be happier. It's a great way to start the morning. No coffee needed as we end the first. It's 3-0 Mustangs.
Indeed it is. Peoria jumping out to this early lead. A pair of goals from Paxton Zeiser and a third from Charles Pyle leaves it at 3-2-0. We're going to take a break real quick, but stick with us, folks. More playoff hockey's coming up right here on SBS.
When you fire up Big Ten Plus, you get more game, nonstop, around the clock. More live games you won't see anywhere else. More access to your team, wherever you want, 24/7. More stories.
Unstoppable.
More highlights.
Wow.
More big-time playmakers. Plus, catch up to 4 games at once, so you'll never miss more shots, spikes, and scores. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on.
Back here in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, alongside Steve Taylor, I'm Andy Diedrich. 3-0 Peoria. I mean, we talk about the Sabres being a good team. You got to talk about Peoria being just as good. First place in the regular season, and they're showing their prowess early.
Incredible start for the Mustangs. We've got 2 goals. I believe it was from Zeiser.
Paxton Zeiser, that's correct.
And then an additional from Pyle. It's just been a great start for Peoria. It seems like the ice is tilted. Both goals scored to our right, but we'll see if that'll keep up as the team switch side. It's the period of the long change, the middle frame.
All eyes certainly will be on Jason D., the tender for the Sabres this period.
The stick taps to start us off. Incredible energy from both of these teams. They really want to get the energy up in this one.
It's truly what it's all about here, especially at this level of hockey, is the passion for the game. Not that the guys at the older levels don't have the passion. We see how hard they play. But that's really what at this level is all about, other than teaching it, learning the game, getting better. It's just the love for the sport of hockey.
You know the teams want to win, and that's an easy one. That's a given. But what you also want to see is the teams that are just excited to be on the ice right now. And that's what we see from both of these teams. They're just super stoked to play a game. They don't care what time it is. They don't care where it is. They're just here because they love lacing up and getting out there as Hammer takes it into the zone for Peoria.
Passes in the middle, rebound, off the post, goes wide. Shot still loose in the crease, but now swallowed up. Jason D., great save there. That was going to be rough if that was still loose.
First D. Nile, Jason D.
There it is. You did second period. You weren't kidding.
It always comes back around.
Yeah, the one thing we talk about, both teams being excited to be on the ice, but with the intensity that both teams are playing, whether it's Peoria already up 3 or the Sabres trying to fight back from down 3 with this intensity still, I don't think moral victories is something they want to leave here with. They want much more.
Absolutely, and Peoria is already showing that. It's significant because so far through the game, we've had no penalties. Now, that's not really surprising. A clean game is pretty common. These are pretty well disciplined teams anyway. Another save from Jason D. But the last outing for the Peoria Mustangs, they were against St. Pete, and the first St. Pete goal came during a 5-on-3. It was a game misconduct followed by, as he sneaks through, almost.
Nearly a way to get through there. That was Ben Cullen, number 11. First good look at the net he had. That puck going through. One timer fired in by McKierney.
But we talk about the discipline. It came after a game misconduct penalty and a 5-minute major, followed by a separate cross-check penalty.
Brody Dice, goal number 4 for Peoria. Top left. What else can you say? Peoria's jumped out to an astounding lead to start this one.
He's rolling the dice. I'm talking about all the discipline for these Mustangs, but I mean, Dice just nailing one up in the top left corner.
Brody Dice, slicing and dicing. That's another name we're going to get a lot of puns off on, especially now that he's got his name in the stat sheet. And it looks like we are going to get a change at goaltender for the Sabres. We're going to see, I believe that's number 29, Brody Quint, enter the ice. So Jason D. will exit. And honestly, I don't think Jason D. really has much to hang his head on this one. I think I'm sure being the starter in a playoff game, you obviously have a lot of good rapport. But, I mean, this is just a Peoria team that's playing really hot. And I think he's got a couple bad breaks.
I think there's a lot of misconception when it comes to pulling the goaltender, especially early in a game like this. There's a lot of understanding that, oh, you're pulling the goaltender because they're not performing well, they're doing poorly or what have you. But I don't think that applies to Jason D. I don't think that applies in every case, and especially not in this case. Sometimes you pull the goaltender just to change the momentum, try and flip the script. Maybe it's not their night, maybe just some opportunities are coming up, but when you have a different look, someone else that the Mustangs are going to have to shoot at, they're going to try and get used to this different goaltender. It may shift things a little bit. So I don't think Jason D. has anything to hang his hat on. I think he's got a lot to be happy about with his performance thus far. And it stinks to have your night end early, but you really can't complain.
Krieger inside, wanted to feed number 91, I believe that was. I actually don't believe it was 91. I don't have a 91 on my roster. Must have seen whoever Krieger tried to feed that one into.
I think it was Raja, 71. Oh, it's a stat. Or Schott. Easton Schott.
Easton Schott, because he's wearing 01. That's what it is.
You know, they don't usually put a leading 0 on some of these jerseys, but Peoria Mustangs trying something new.
Yeah, we'll
see if it catches on. Could be the move.
We have him listed as 1. He is wearing 01 technically, which I guess means all the same, but Easton Schott with a heck of a name, and I'm sure with the amount of times we say Schott on a hockey broadcast, we're going to say a lot. But right now, we're going to say a penalty upcoming. Not sure who that's going against. I didn't quite catch the full transpiring of what just happened.
It looks like a trip, but it could go either way, and I was entirely wrong. Looks like it's a cross check. And Peoria is going to go to the box. It's O.
Peoria, 2-minute penalty coming up. Mason O visits the sin bin. Our first penalty of the night comes with 10:49 remaining in the second period.
And this is just what you asked for. If you're the Sabres, you get this power play opportunity. Take advantage. Score 1, then you can get 2.
Momentum. We mentioned it in the last game. This is our second time mentioning it now. The Sabres can get just something brewing. The game's far from over. I don't care what anybody says. There's no goal or there's no lead in hockey that is ever safe.
Never any at all. Doc Emmerich will tell you that 3 is the most dangerous lead in hockey. We're sitting at 4-0 right now. We'll see if we can see some danger following this power play.
Cam Hammer, another great hockey name. He's going to go in on the shorthanded chance, but a great glove save. First chance for Brody Quint, and he makes himself look good with the glove.
Quint just flashing out the glove. This is part of the reasons that you talk about switching out the goaltender. Maybe the other one's just more locked in, and right now it seems Quint coming off the bench, he's already having a strong start.
So Peoria is still pushing on this shorthanded chance with the Sabres on the power play. Now having to get back, realizing they have the man disadvantage. Holmes feeds it down to number 24, Christian Lasac. Puck loose in the slot. Hafner turns. Will wait. Now they're being patient with it. Holmes from the point. Glove save. Thought he dropped it for a second, but he does have it in the leather. The left-handed save, Logan Flynn.
Flynn, excellent save. I think he lost it somewhere in the middle there. It might have been redirected, but he caught it in his gear.
He's got the shutout brewing. There's still plenty of game left in this one, of course, but...
Oh, what a faux pas. You don't say it until it's happened. But potentially that could lead to the Sabres breaking through.
I don't want to be the one that curses him, but I don't want necessarily anything. I want a good hockey game, whatever that happens to be. But you are correct. If the Flynn family's watching, they might be upset with me if one trickles through to the back of the net.
And don't worry, if we do a post-game interview for this one, I'll head down. I don't want you anywhere near this locker room. They'll be right cross with you.
I don't know. He looks pretty good, Steve. Another glove save with the left hand, Logan Flynn.
Locked in Logan Flynn.
I like that one. We got a lot of puns to work on. I'm not very good at them. I'm going to let you do it. That's why they call you the color commentator, I believe.
Oh, I add color to the broadcast, but I tell you, the Peoria team, they write it for themselves. These incredible names. Raleigh Hofgren would have been an incredible name to call, but unfortunately he's out. He's injured. Defenseman Raleigh Hoffman for the Peoria Mustangs.
Raleigh as in North Carolina, I believe. Nice set of moves in there. That was number 11, Ben Cullen, with half a minute remaining on the power play. Sabres trying to get something going. You're in the slot. Hafner, no one touched that, went through the crease.
Hafner looking for the redirect, just couldn't quite find it on his stick.
He's seeming to be the one that generates a lot of offense here as they go to him and the waiting moments of this power play. You hear Logan Flynn slapping the ice, that's Brody Quint slapping the ice, letting his team know that the even strength matchup's coming back on. And indeed, a successful penalty kill for the Peoria Mustangs.
Stangs able to clear the zone.
Paxton Zeiser, our first 2 goal scorers of the day. Got a chance left side. Shoots high. Good defense. Quint got out in front to make himself look big. Retreating is Cam Hammer, center ice. Great glove and laying it down his pile. He fell for a second. Now it's cleared past the blue line. Silva's out for the Sabres. Coming in for him is R.J. Swanson.
Cleared by the Stangs, just bounces off of Lasac. And back around to the blue line. Sock with the breakout, trying to feed Stack ahead.
Indeed he is, but Bame all over it. That's a defenseman that we've called a lot more on both sides of the ice for Peoria. Isaac Bame, number 25.
It's good to have an offensive defenseman out there. Takes some of the stress off of your forwards and keeps the defense on their toes. They're not just expecting shots from down below the dots.
Logan Flynn looks like a baseball catcher right now with that glove, making it look effortless. He's probably got half a dozen of those tonight. Today, sorry. What time is it? 10:15 in the morning here in Pleasant Prairie.
10:15, the sun is up. First sunny day in a while here in the Midwest.
Yeah, what do we get, 15 of those a year?
We get plenty of them in the summertime. Summertime Chicago is nothing to sneeze at. And but right now we're in Wisconsin, west side of Lake Michigan. It's a beautiful but very chilly day. Takeaway here.
Got a lot more hockey coming your way on SBS, folks, as Sabres they're not going to get it out of there quite yet. We'll take this moment to talk about all that rest of the hockey. We saw the Yellow Jackets and the Falcons for Red Tier 1 before this, a overtime win for those Yellow Jackets. This is Peoria and the Sabres. Coming up next, we'll do it real quickly, whether it's the Tier 2 games, Bloomington versus the Blues, Bulldogs versus the Cyclones, and some more Tier 1. Peoria against Afton. We'll see Peoria take the ice again. Then the Yellow Jackets will play the Indy Fuel. Another save from Flynn. So many games in the schedule, it's hard to keep track. Keep in mind, there's 8 of them today. This is only game number 2. Closing out the day, Red Tier 2, Ice Dogs and Sabres. And then those Falcons, who played the first game of the day for Red Tier 1, will face off against St. Peter's at 8 p.m.
That's going to be a tough one, to see them at 8 a.m. and then once again at 8 p.m., both sides of the clock.
That's really a great point, because a lot of these teams have a lot different weights between their games, and probably focus on the teams that are going to be maybe contending for. We get a horn sounded. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Real quick to finish my point, though, a lot of these teams, some of them are waiting upwards of 10 hours between games. Some are waiting maybe 3 or 4. How does that management work for these coaching staffs? How do they figure that out?
That's the big thing, is trying to manage your players, trying to make sure that they stay rested. I'm a person that can't nap, so I'd be terrible with this, because you have to assume that the Falcons, they're all back at the hotel and they're napping. They don't really care what's going on with the Yellow Jackets in their second game. They just want to get their rest and be ready to go for the next one.
Have to put yourself in a position to win and move on. Only the top team in each of the round-robin brackets will move on to Championship Sunday tomorrow. The Red 1 game, Red Tier 1, is at 10:20 a.m. right here at the Green Rink at the Recplex. Red Tier 2, 12 noon. Red Tier 3, 1:40 p.m., all brought to you live here on Sports Broadcast Solutions.
It's Championship Sunday here, or it's going to be Championship Sunday tomorrow. Here there's another game going on, but I haven't really made many plans for whatever that game is.
Great save with the stick this time from Flynn.
Oh!
Shot backside, Cullen couldn't get to it, and now the defense swarming him. A healthy sign for an offense that's maybe budding, trying to break through, just couldn't convert on it if you are the Naperville Sabres.
It's a tough one, and you really have to find a way to shake it off, because Cullen's probably kicking himself when he gets to the bench on that one. Great opportunity right on his stick, just couldn't quite settle down the puck.
We talked about Logan Flynn with the glove. The last 2 with the blocker and the stick, pretty easily made. I think we're seeing a star in the making here. Another goalie that we're going to have to sing the praises of again, Steve.
Absolutely. If nothing else, we're seeing a full resume of his availability.
A save on one end, a goal on the other. It's all Peoria with 5:08 remaining in the second period. Steve, didn't see you knock that one through, but when you get a 2-on-0, Peoria probably going to make you pay.
Just back and forth. That wasn't any fault to the goaltender. That's just back and forth. You get a 2-on-0 breakaway, you have to do the pass right there, and that's all it was. It was a yawning cage after the pass. Looks like that may have been shot.
Couple of the Mustangs got their stick on that one. Easton shot. I saw Brody Stesler, who's, again, been all over, another name we've called, had something in on it. Not sure who we're exactly going to credit that one to, but all that matters for the team, 5-0, and that score speaks for itself right now.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great start for the Peoria Mustangs. As I say, it's a great start. We're already halfway through the game.
So if this lead were to hold going into the third period or be extended by Peoria, there is a rule in the third. Running clock will stand for the third period as long as a team has a 5-goal or greater lead. Something to keep in mind for the folks watching at home.
Now, it was mentioned, Hammer lowering the boom.
Peoria's not done yet, it looks like. Cam Hammer quite literally laid the hammer down.
Now Lasock with an opportunity, just got to get through. Little trouble there.
Wanted to go between the skates, but the defense, that was Jobin Brown, who we called before, had a hand in the goal. Once again, another guy for Peoria that's making it happen on offense and defense.
Brown, just a phenomenal performance for Peoria. He's really started off phenomenal. Feet in front, nobody home. And Brown there to receive.
One-timer is successfully saved. Brody Quint with probably another half a dozen saves for his part. 3:35 left in the second period. So 2 different games so far for us. First one, back and forth overtime. This one, right now, Peoria's just showing their might.
Peoria is just establishing dominance in both ends of the ice. You can see it on the defensive side of it, but honestly, it's falling back to the Sabres that just can't get their sticks hot. They're getting opportunities, decent passes to the center, but they can't control the puck, and it's preventing them from getting the shot off. We can commend Logan Flynn for having a solid game, really great performance, but he hasn't really been challenged. That's why we say last game, it was Sennett Strauss was just standing on his head, showing off. Emily Whalen just absolutely breathtaking saves. Logan Flynn, he's just showing a resume. Less of a highlight reel, more of a resume. This is what he does best, and he hasn't really been challenged yet today.
And the important thing at this level, regardless of score, is all these kids want to get better. As we'll pause this, Stelzer's going to have another 1-on-0, and he will score. 6-0, Peoria. Brody Stesler. This one is looking like a runaway.
Just a great breakaway and a very great shot, but you don't usually see shots go through on the lower glove side. Quint just probably couldn't find the puck, couldn't place it, and gets through. 6-0 Stangs.
The Stangs indeed imposing their will, showing their might. And yeah, at this level, regardless of the score on the scoreboard, all of these kids are here to get better, grow as teammates, whether it's individually or as a collective thing. They want to get better, right? So you continue to play the game as Peoria's got another chance. Easton shot with a beautiful shot, top left. 2 goals within maybe 7 seconds of each other. Peoria Mustangs. That's the sentence. That's all I got.
Shot wearing 01 on the jersey. He's 1 on our roster, which is significant because he's the only one on the score sheet for that goal. A steal. Takes it all the way himself. Opposite corner. Great shot by shot.
Indeed, that was unassisted. Easton shot, again, another hockey name, just added to the repertoire of the many in this game, last game. I'm sure we're going to see a ton of others today. But Peoria, honestly, I'm running out of words to say about them, Steve. I think the game speaks for itself.
Peoria is just showing their might, and they're doing it again. Zeiser with the takeaway.
Paxton Zeiser started us off with the scoring, 2 goals of his own. Really early in the first, that were probably the 1 goal I think was 7 seconds into the game, and nothing's really changed since then. The Sabres have had a chance here or there, almost converted on a power play, but Naperville looking to have some semblance of something to hold their heads high on as they skate out of here after this one.
And we talked about it last game. The rules indicate that each team gets a single timeout. You do consider using it in the second period in a situation like this. Sometimes you need your team, they're a little shaken. That's like 3 goals in rapid succession. You really have to try and get your nerves back under control. And some of the ways you do that, you just call a timeout. You say, hey guys, I'm not worried about the outcome. I'm worried about the next one.
Krieger shot, good save from Quint, and bounced right out to his teammates, so now Naperville's got a chance. Schmidt, good cross pass, but Sutton intercepts. Under 90 seconds remaining in the second period.
An exhausted group of Sabres go to the bench.
You said it, Steve. These are long shifts that they're going to have to clock. And I think Lasac got his stick a little too high on that one.
We saw Mark Reppy take it in down low for the Sabres, tried to center the puck, but didn't have anyone home. Everybody was on the change. And Lasac tries to play it with a high stick, and so sure enough, face off in the other end.
Peoria playing it after the faceoff, keeping it in their zone. To the front, in front. O's got it near the crease. Well defended. Cullen sweeps it out. Playing that defense to force it, though, for the Sabres, Colin Stack. Excuse me, that was Alex Malinowski on the defense earlier. Anthony Silva had it. Now there's a stick loose. I'm actually unsure who it belongs to. Going to collect it. He's got it, Christian Lasac. So, as of right now, of course, Peoria with the previous playoff win against Glenview in this round-robin bracket. Afton gained the win over the Sabres the other night as well. So, if this result holds, which we imagine it to, Peoria would be 2-0 in the driver's seat, and it would probably be them versus Afton that will decide who's going to move on to Championship Sunday tomorrow.
A very big game that we'll see later today. Peoria and Afton will be our fifth game of the day.
It's going to start 3:30 is the schedule. We had the last game run a little long. Overtime will do that, of course. We had a quick overtime. That was a 7-second one. Again, I believe that video is still up on the channel. If you guys want to go watch a great ending to that, is Cullen shoots, but saved by Flynn. We have a lot of hockey for you today. So if you're not going to do anything else but watch hockey today, you have come to the right place. Seconds and counting in the second period. Puck's loose in the crease. Whistled out of there. And now loose. One more chance for Peoria with 4 seconds left. Maybe they'll just take it easy in this one. Stesler falls with some contact. But that's going to wrap it up. 2 periods down. Peoria up 7 on the Sabres, who have yet to score yet. We're going to take a short break here, folks. And before we get into this third period, stay with us here on SBS.
When you fire up Big Ten Plus, you get more game, nonstop, around the clock. More live games you won't see anywhere else. More access to your team, wherever you want, 24/7. More stories.
Unstoppable.
More highlights. Whoa. More big-time playmakers. Plus, catch up to 4 games at once, so you'll never miss more shots, spikes, and scores. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on.
Three or 4 years ago, I noticed that my left hip was hurting. Someone personally recommended a doctor here in town who's with IBJI. Within 12 days, I was walking without a cane, without a walker, without anything, and without pain. That was the big thing.
Illinois Bone and Joint Institute's top orthopedic experts help you move better, live better. For more information, visit ibji.com.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on, so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
Back here in Pleasant Prairie at the Recplex, 7-0 Peoria, showing why they won their regular season with a record of 15 wins, 5 losses in this Bantam Red 1 division. As for Naperville, the Sabres still fighting. They're still a great team. We've talked about them at length. Steve, you noticed something there on the bench in that little intermission we had. What'd you see?
Well, Coach Murtaugh really just wants to get the team back in the mindset of a game, not necessarily this game. Right now, the Sabres find themselves down in a 7-0 hole, but they're not really too worried about what the outcome of this game is going to be. They just want them to play smart. What I've already noticed is that the team's not talking to one another, so that's exactly what Murtaugh has to be saying. Coach Murtaugh is trying to get his team to be playing the normal game, let everybody know where you're at, what you're doing on the ice, because that's how you start to claw your way back or get anywhere closer to a 7-goal deficit.
So a penalty late in that second period, another save made by Flynn. Penalty went against the Mustangs, so the Sabres have a power play for about the next 40 seconds or so, and keep in mind that clock is going to continue running because of the 5-goal lead rule. So that clock is going to keep ticking here in this 14-minute period until the lead gets within 5 goals. Important to note for all of our viewers, we will resume play on the other end, still with about a half minute left on the power play for Naperville.
We were talking about that rule, how icing from a penalty. Now, if you're the Sabres, you're really appreciative of that rule because you get the clear from the other end, but you still have the opportunity with the face-off in your offensive zone.
Puck was frozen there by Flynn with the running clock. The power play is now over. I think play has to resume until that skater can re-enter the ice. And that's exactly what happens. Skating out of the box is Wagers. Onto the ice for him, off and running is Stesler. And he's got a one-on-one chance against Hooms. Stesler wants another one, but off the stick of Hooms. Good positioning from him.
Way to get in front of that. You really want to stay in the shot lanes to prevent those shots.
It does look like the Sabres are doing a little bit better job, maybe rejuvenated by that break, getting in these passing lanes and making things happen.
And then we start to see our first penalty from the Sabres.
I actually didn't catch exactly what happened there, but we'll have the clock stop at 12:08. The only time the clock will stop in the period is when there's a penalty going on.
Looks like it'll be Raja. Did not catch what the penalty was. It was down here in the near corner.
Yeah, our view's a little obstructed here where we're at the Recplex. But either way, it's 2 minutes in the box for Luke Raja of the Sabres. Power play once again for Peoria. Back out to the middle. Taylor shoots.
Quint saw that all the way through. A great shot by Taylor, but not enough to get past Quint.
Still need to develop winning habits even in a game that you are likely not going to win. I think that's what Quint and the rest of the Sabres are trying to do.
Absolutely.
Kind of what you said was that talk over on the bench was about.
And the same thing applies on the other side. Peoria's been playing a mostly clean game, only a couple penalties, none of them malicious, nothing egregious, just something to be mindful of. With even being up 7-0, you still need to be playing like a winner and playing a very clean game. Keep it clean.
I think we actually did see that there from the Peoria coaching staff for a little bit. Kind of all the guys on the bench turned around to look right at it instead of looking at the action on the ice. And I think the message really was, we want to come out of this with a win. We have another game to play today. The job's not finished yet. Do what you got to do here. I mean, it's the famous Kobe Bryant quote. Job finished? I don't think so. Under 11 minutes remaining in regulation. Still 35 seconds of shorthanded action for Naperville. Out of the zone, back into the zone. Reppy's got it. Far side, swing and a miss, however. Wagers back the other way. Him and Dice facing 3 defenders. Dice to his right, back to the middle, intercepted. The awareness from Swanson, and he's got a chance with a breakaway. Gets to his right, goes one-on-one with Flynn. Save! Logan Flynn once again. There to collect are his teammates. I think you are seeing fatigue a little bit on Naperville. You'd love to see the rest of the teammates there crashing in that rebound attempt, but they were not to be found. As another good save there from Brody Quinn, however.
Penalty on Raja expires, and Swanson goes straight to the bench, but a great opportunity. You really can't complain. Incredible opportunity, just couldn't quite connect. That's Max Swanson on the opportunity at the other end. One thing you do have to give a lot of credit for is that one of the big stories in the NHL this week was from a Thursday night game. The Battle of Florida is the Florida Panthers against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay comes away with a 6-1 win, but the big storyline was just a blindside hit by Matthew Tkachuk. It's a media darling, but a blindside hit, just a terrible hit. Not the kind of stuff that we want in the game. Fighting's like, people have different opinions about fighting. I don't think it has a place in the youth part of the game. I think that that's something that maybe the adults can settle, maybe with their fists it seems, but you really want to keep it clean. We talk about the clean game already, but a clean game and not such from Matthew Tkachuk in the Thursday night game in the Battle of Florida. Blindside hit, just looking to injure, it looks like, just unclean.
I think that's surprising from him, too. I feel as though a lot of young hockey players, maybe some of these gentlemen out on the ice here, kind of look to him as someone to model their game after, model their character after, really. Kind of uncharacteristic from Tkachuk.
It's an interesting thing to think about when it comes to Matthew Tkachuk, because Florida identifies with being a rat, and then they added Brad Marchand. Incredible rat-style hockey. But the thing about being a rat is not to be a dirty player, it's to be an annoying player. You want to get in the other team's head. You want to play a game that makes them angry without even doing anything illegal. And so that's where it comes into a very funny place. Brad Marchand is looking to get everybody's attention, rile them up, make a problem, and the same thing is true all the way across the Florida depth chart, but it's not the same.
That's a good point. You talk about the different roles players step into, regardless of their position, really, what you're kind of known as. At this level, you still kind of feel like they have a shape to mold into. They're starting to figure it out, but they're not quite there yet. They're not falling into a different, discrete bucket yet. So I think that's why the game at this level, I would love your opinion on this, of course, but I think the game at this level is such a fun thing to watch because you have kids really figuring out who they want to be on the ice.
And that's true both on and off the ice. I mean, these kids are 14. Do you remember when you were 14? Still trying to figure out what your next move was, both in school, outside of school, just trying to find out what you're up to. When I was 14, I was destined for college. Sabres almost break through Cullen. Great opportunity on the doorstep. When I was 14, I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to go to school, not quite for what. Ended up majoring in chemistry, and here I am calling. I was also a part of the AV club. I was a sportscaster way back in high school, and here I am doing it again. Steve the Sportsman Taylor lives on. So you're still trying to figure out your role to answer the question. You're still trying to figure out what you want to be as a player. You see it in football, wide receivers ending up as running backs by the time they get to college. You just play the role that matters for the team that you're on. And here you start to see these guys, maybe they're trying to figure out whether they're going to be offensive defensemen, defensive defensemen, whether they're going to try and be a two-way player, a playmaker, what kind of thing they're going to end up being. But still a lot of potential for all these kids from where they are right now to where they will end up at the climax of their career.
Right, and especially all these kids clearly want to achieve individual success. They want to win as a team too, but you have to remind them that your goal at this level is to continue learning the game, find that niche that you were just talking about, whatever that may be. If it takes you to chemistry class, then so be it, as our sportscaster Steve up here. But the important thing is, it doesn't matter what really club level you play at. Whatever your goal is with this sport, you can still absolutely achieve that whether you're on either side of this game right now, whether you're on Peoria or whether you're on Naperville.
And they talk about it, this is an NCAA ad from way back in the late aughts, early teens that said most of our athletes go pro in something other than sports. And that's where it comes back to what these games, hockey, basketball, what they teach about leadership for these kids. So these kids are still making memories. This is one season. This is a blip in time. They'll come back, and they'll have a great season next season playing at the next level.
I think you and I could probably recount a whole bunch of times when we were younger and we got absolutely smacked by another team, whatever sport that may have been. I remember my final game of high school basketball, not to recount, to say that I'm reliving the glory days too much, but just to give some context. In basketball, you're supposed to score like a lot, right?
Yes.
So we scored 0 points at the end of the first quarter in a playoff game. It was so bad that they actually inserted me into the game because that's how bad I was. So I try to tell people that to uplift them. I'm like, hey, you could always be as bad as I was at the sport that I thought I liked. So if that's any consolation.
It's true at all levels of sport and all levels. It can always be worse. And an incredible call there. I am very surprised to see. Look like O led Hammer into the zone, which is crazy when Hammer has the puck. Looked like an offsides to me, but they were all able to reset. Kick in front, O.
Goal number 8 for Peoria. Mason O with his name in the stat sheet now. That clock continues to run with a score. Just get another tack onto it for the Junior Stangs. 8-0. Wow.
Just a cherry on top of a great game for the Stangs. Sabre bench not thrilled. Coach Murtaugh seemed to be very frustrated. Not sure whether that was directed at the referees for a potential missed offsides call.
I do think the Sabres had a case for that. However, given the course of the game, might not have mattered. But still, you don't want this game to get out of hand in any way. And regardless, I'm not score margin, of course, but like, you know, these are just kids. You got to teach them the game, as we continue to say. Don't need anybody throwing words around, throwing punches even worse, more than what's happened. That hasn't happened from what we've seen in the CSDHL, which is why it's one of the best Tier 2 leagues, if not the best. Great save, though, from Quinn. He awoke at the right time there.
Stetzler, just an incredible move to get by. Keep an eye on Stetzler. We might see him. His name may be called in a couple more years.
Yeah, he's an animal. I don't think we've really said that enough. There's a lot of Peoria guys that have stood out today, but Brody Stetzler, I think, has had a hand in probably 5 or 6 of the goals on the board for them.
And Quinn was in the right place at the right time, just couldn't quite get a hold of that one. But that, my friends, is why you thank your posts.
Always satisfying to hear the post. If you're a goalie, it's satisfying to hear it bounce out. If you're shooting from the blue line, maybe it's a little more satisfying to get that bar down action.
Absolutely. You hear a ding and you're a little bit worried. I think one thing that we have to commend both teams for is that it doesn't feel like there's been a lot of uncalled for extracurricular activity. They're both playing a very mature game, and at this level, that speaks a lot to how good these players really are on the mental side of the game. I mean, it is a mental game. What is it? Hockey's 100% mental and 50% everything else?
That's honestly a great point. I feel like at other times in differing leagues, and honestly even older gentlemen, to be honest with you, that act out of line, unsportsmanlike, detrimental to the game, whatever you want to call it, where they're getting out of line real early, and it's just not a way that you want to. Like, would you be satisfied if your kids were doing that? Probably not. So to see these young men go out there and behave as good as they do, speaking of hitting the bar, that's a great point, Steve. The emotional maturity that both these teams are showing, whether if you're in the lead or you're facing the deficit right now, is really commendable.
Absolutely. It's all academic at this point. Only a minute, 100 seconds less now to go in this game. They're basically just holding it out. Looks like an icing if they want to call it. Looks like the refs aren't even calling it. They're going to let this one, let the time tick down, get through the last 90 seconds of this one.
A couple more substitutions on for the Sabres. So we'll go ahead and try and address some of the tail of the tape from what happens now that Peoria is going to come away with a win in this one. So with their win against Glenview earlier and this win, 2-0. A nice save from Quint, though. Ooh, diving in a little late there. Looked like wanting to get one more exclamation point of a goal. Not sure who that was diving. That is number 8, Mason Wagers. Can't blame him, though. He had a good spot to try and get the rebound at least.
He's in the right spot, and this happens all the time. Hockey's an interesting sport because you'll have those moments where you lose your balance, and it's nobody's fault. Most recently, I was playing defense in one of my adult league games. I'm recounting the glory days by still living them. But I ended up losing my footing, fall backwards, puck comes to me, and I can't do much with it when I'm not on my feet, so...
Peoria will gain 2 more points with the win here, so we have to check on the other game that the Afton Americans will have to play. There's the exclamation point, and what do you know? 2 goals to start the game and 1 goal to end it. A hat trick. Paxton Zeiser makes it 9-0.
Zeiser just wanted that hat trick, and you can't fault the player. Usually as a coach, you're kind of telling your guys like, hey, don't score down the stretch like this, but honestly, you cap off the hat trick, you can't fault him.
And with the running clock, that's going to do it on this one. Story of the game, Peoria showing their dominance, regular season champs for a reason. And what do you know? There was a shutout there for Logan Flynn, despite my best attempts to jinx him, I guess.
Outstanding performance by Logan Flynn. We're seeing a lot of good hockey today. Great job by the the Peoria Mustangs, and we'll see them later today against the Afton Americans.
Yeah, we have to check on the Afton Americans score for their second playoff game that they're going to play, but Peoria controls their own destiny. A win against Afton will get them to the Bantam Red 1 title game, so stay tuned for that and all the rest of the hockey action we have on air today. For Steve Taylor, I'm Andy Diedrich. Got more hockey coming up on SBS. Stay tuned.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most.